All right, everybody, peace. Welcome to the Sorry to Bother You show. Wherever or however you're listening, we're so grateful to have you here with us. As you guys know, I'm your host, Casuan Cottle, and today I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Dre Pennington.
You said today. Well, what's good, y'all? How we doing? We back, man. Finally, it's been a while. I've been missing everybody. Sean, are you good, man? You good?
I'm good, man.
You
I'm
excited
good.
for the show? I'm excited. I don't know. I miss sports and talking about it.
I love this energy you have right now, man.
Of course, you gotta. I'm the energetic one. I gotta just let it all out there.
Okay, so you're gonna have to keep up the energy for both of us then, okay? Dre, guys, we've got a really important guest on the show to me.
Okay.
This is a really good friend of mine. I consider him a brother. I've known him for, almost 11 years now. We
Oh
played
my.
ball together, middle school, high school. I supported him. He supported me all throughout our collegiate careers and our professional careers. One of the best shooters I ever played with, one of the hardest workers I've ever played with, one of the best teammates I've had the pleasure of being on the same team with, and one of the most driven guys I've had the pleasure of being around, Mr. Marcel Holden.
What's going on, everybody? I appreciate y'all. Casuan and Dre put me on this show today. It's a real honor. It truly is. I love it.
He's all like suit and tie professional right now.
Yeah.
Bro. You can relax, man. It's all good.
It's just hot.
Oh, is it hot? Marcel, how you feeling, man?
I'm doing good, bro. It's just COVID, man. That's really all it is right now.
Yeah, man. How's COVID affected you so far?
There's a lot of negatives, but I definitely say there's a lot of positives out of it. It definitely has helped me throughout this whole time. But and there's no telling. I don't know what's going on down the road.
Yeah, I feel it. Well, let's why don't you tell us and the fans that are listening, why don't you tell us a little about yourself, man? Just a little bit about your background.
Okay. What do y'all really want to know? Just anything? Like
Dre, what do you want to know? What do you want to know about Marcel?
Oh, okay. So one of the things that I think people would want to know is how was it for you collegiately? Like, where'd you go? How was that? How was your experience in college? Like, just give it a little background about your school, if you could.
Okay, cool. So, well, at first I wasn't always a collegiate athlete. I went to Texas A&M, University of Kingsville. That was the first school I went to. I wasn't even going to play college ball or anything. I had a Division II scholarship to play football as a corner. But then when it came to around my senior year of high school, I really didn't like playing football anymore. So like it was more of a, my father's trying to press me to play, and I was like, man, forget it. Then when it got to around, I was about to graduate high school. I was like, I'm just gonna go straight to school. Just maybe try to walk onto the team over there. But for that didn't really work out. It was more of a practice team type stuff. So from that, one of my homeboys from back home, he actually got me an opportunity to play at another school in HBCU, a little small one in Dallas called Parkland College. So after my freshman year, the head coach or the assistant coach hit me up, gave me an offer. So I went down there, probably did like a little trial or whatever. And then that's when I started up playing. But that first year, I basically redshirted. They didn't play me the whole year. So then, and when I went to that school, it's a private institution. I had to start over completely with my credits and everything. So after that first year, I just practiced basically the whole time. And then I played 3 years at that school. And then after that was around the time now that I finally graduated. And with that, that was definitely a bumpy road because we had 2 different coaches. The last year was definitely an interesting one because that's when we started getting a lot of TV time, playing a lot of Division I's and stuff like that. And then the coach is now the head coach for Jermaine O'Neal's program for Drive Nation. So that was definitely a whole new mindset. He brought in guys and everything. But it was definitely cool. It was definitely a great experience. I don't regret nothing. The season had its ups and downs, but definitely I grew more as a man than anything.
Okay. I want to talk about something, Marcel. You talked about how you were a dual athlete growing up. You played football and also basketball. Is there any correlation between the two, between football and basketball, in terms of maybe footwork, athleticism, skill set? Any correlation between football and basketball?
Personally, I think when it comes to like skill set and anything, I feel like I don't know, there's something about it. I guess football just always came more natural. It's just
Yeah.
more of a like, I don't know, just like it's just cutting and stuff like that. Because what I played most of the time was at first I was a quarterback and then I went to receiver. So I don't know. I just feel like it was way more natural for me to play that. Like towards basketball was more like I didn't really get serious until maybe like the 7th, 8th grade because our middle school didn't even have a football team. So I was like, okay, and then now I'm gonna start playing basketball, start learning. I
Yeah.
definitely think it's just I've had to work a lot harder when it came towards basketball because I wasn't really introduced to all of it when I was younger, like I was, but you
Yeah.
know, it just wasn't one of my main sports. I didn't think I'd be where I'm at today, definitely in basketball.
Right. Right. But your family is pretty athletic, though, right? You come from an athletic family, right?
Yep. My brother definitely he played over there. He was one of the best people in far what is it called? I think it was called like Far East, something like that. Yeah, he was one of the best running backs that ever went to the school. And then but he ended up messing up his shoulder, so he ain't playing anymore. And then my dad was like almost a professional tennis player, until he had all of us, so he gave it up. So then like aside from that, yeah, basically everyone was just an athlete,
Yeah.
as you can say.
Do you think that kind of, I don't know, Dre, because you know how like when you grow up with family members and you guys all play sports, so you guys all get kind of competitive, you create that competitive edge. Did that happen for you guys? Like, when you guys grow up and you guys had like creating that competitive edge with each other?
Oh, I thought you just said Dre. Oh, my fault.
No,
You're
both,
talking.
both you guys.
It was
Both
for
you
both.
guys.
It was for both.
Oh, okay. You go ahead, man. You got it.
I was to say, so I didn't have any siblings growing up, but I had a lot of friends who all played basketball, and then it got more serious when I was like, I moved to. I'll say I want to move when I say moved here, and I gotta agree. Once you get like those friends that kind of group with you, and you're just like, all right, kind of like their drive is like as hard as yours, or their drive's more. I would say it is. It's a huge competitive edge, but I could never imagine having someone in the household and being like, just every day they're just challenging you, like, hey man, like you're not really even that good. Like, imagine hearing that.
Um,
So I'm sure like with you, like it had to be like, all right, man, like, do I really gotta like you really trying to challenge me right now? Like, because you said you had a brother that played football, right?
right.
So was he ever just like, hey, come on, let's go get some ones in just all the time?
Kinda, but with him, he was very like more lenient towards it. He ain't really like he wasn't like that. He was more of a just like, hey, you want to come out here? I mean, if you want, don't matter. Like he was a very chill type kind of player. That's why I didn't understand why he was so good because I swear I felt like he didn't work that hard. But then like he'd go out there and play, and I'd be like, yo, he's better than everybody else on the field. Like it don't make no sense.
Yo, yeah, Quinn was a dog, son. He was a dog.
It was unreal, bro.
I'll say I have a friend that's like that. It just happens sometimes, especially. Is your brother? Are you and your brother like the same height and everything?
I'm about like maybe like an inch taller, inch and a half.
Man, but he just had the natural talent for it. So
Yeah,
it
just
happens.
natural.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens.
Facts. But Marcel, so what about your father? So like what, because he played tennis, right? So he played tennis.
Mhm.
But so how did you get into basketball then? You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't find out that he really, really got into tennis until like maybe like freshman year of high school. Cause he always pushed us hard to play, like he always pushed hard to play football and stuff like that. And the main thing, well, I guess how I got to playing basketball is because he would try to like because he wasn't part. We didn't live with him at first because we lived with our mom at first, me and my older brother. So then I guess he tried to throw all the sports at us and basically see like what we really wanted to do. But he would always play basketball like on his downtime, and I would go watch or something like if we were here stateside or when we're in Japan.
Yeah.
So then now it's just like I really don't know how that correlated like that because he was so that was his main sport was tennis. That was his sole purpose. Like what he wanted to do all the time. Like he still plays it now. He still coaches little kids. Basketball wise, weird how that all came about. All the thing I really remember him teaching me one time when I was in 8th grade. I was like, hey, I want to learn how to play basketball. He's like, I'm not gonna show you nothing until you learn to dribble with your left hand or make a layup. And I was like, all right. And then that kind of stuck with me. Like now it's 23 and I'm thinking about like, dang, that really kind of stuck with me throughout the time. And then that really where it all started, honestly. That's when I started playing with older men too. As you were there too, we go there like 5 o'clock in the morning playing right before school and then fall asleep in class first period.
He knocked out in first period, man.
Man, what?
So I'll say so that's a thing that I like to talk to people about. Is having like that hard parent. So if you can get into that, like how, in his own way, like how do you think that like developed you and how it like made you who you are? Just having like a tough parent, especially like within sports.
Man, during the time I felt like it was like, I was like, man, what does this do want for me? You know, during my age or being a teenager, I felt like it was like, I don't think you're making me worse. I don't think you're bettering me. But as I got older, as time realizes, I started understanding like, oh, my knowledge of the game is getting better, and him pushing me to where I am, like it kind of built me to the man I am today, like even off the court. So like now it's just like if we go play nowadays, you know, maybe he'll come out there and play. He's a little older now. Now he be sitting back. He's more of a talking type. He gonna talk all day. He gonna
always.
If he's at my basketball game, he's gonna be coaching on the sideline more than what the coach is doing during the game. So he's gonna be yelling the whole time. So
yeah,
it's something different because I got a younger sibling. He's about like 6'6" now. He's like 16 years old, and he doesn't really, you know, get into that. Like he doesn't really like that. You know, I guess me and my older brother, we're just kind of used to it just because he was just so hard on us, I guess, because we're the two oldest. So it's really how you make it. I feel like it benefits you at the end of the day, though.
yeah. But it's weird though, man, how like when we're younger, when our parents are hard on us and they discipline us, we're thinking in that moment, man, this sucks. I can't wait till I move out the house. Like, I don't know why they're doing this to me, this, that, and the third. But a lot of that time in those moments, it's those moments right there when they're disciplining us. Those are the moments that stick with us the most, because those are when they're teaching us actual life lessons that are going to stick with us. You know what I mean? And it's weird that without those moments, when they're hard on us or when they're disciplining us or chastising us, we wouldn't be where we are today without those moments. You know what I mean? And so it's important to have that perspective as a teenager when you grow up like that. But I mean, as a teenager, it's hard to create that perspective, because when you're that age, all you're thinking about is the present moment. You're thinking in that moment right there. You're not thinking forward at all. You know what I mean?
No. So then, like, what was it? So then, when you told him, like, yo, I don't think I want to play football no more. How did he take that? Because I know if I'd have told my mom, like, yo, I'm not even doing basketball no more, she'd be like, what? Not doing what? Nah, you going to school? Like, you gotta go to school. So like, because I could just only imagine how that conversation would go.
Oh yeah, he was so hurt. Like he would just look at me like, what? Like he didn't understand what I was saying, because I did, like, there's another school, but it was a smaller Division 2, or it was a Division 3, I think. It's called Sol Ross University. We took a long trip. It's like on the west side of Texas. And that drive was maybe 12 hours, 13, some crazy number. And we went out there for a whole what is it called? For it's like a not combine, something like that. But basically when I went down there, did what we had to do with the team. But then at that moment, I was like, that's when I started hitting me. I was like, man, I don't want to play this football thing no more. I didn't want to take it no further. And then that was getting close to when I was about to graduate. And so I went up to him and told him, I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to do this football no more. So he was blown. He really didn't believe me. He's like, nah, you stop playing. And I was like, I'm serious. I really don't even want to play football no more. Like, it was burnt out, because I wasn't really into it like that, but I played it. Like, it was fun because the people you have there, you know, the players and stuff like that. That's what made it fun. But then outside of it, I'm like, I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to go out there and work on my routes and stuff like that, or do anything towards that way. But he was blown. But then eventually, you know, he came around, you know, both my parents supported me. And they were just like, okay, you can just be a student, try to walk on basketball, see what happens.
Okay. Oh, you said football was fun because the people you played with. So why don't you talk about like that locker room atmosphere? Is that different for you to as opposed to basketball?
Yeah, there's just something about like, football when you're in the locker room before a game and then after a game, there's just something about it. I guess maybe because the uniform or what everything you're putting on just mentally, it's not the same. I feel like it's not the same mental like readiness that you got to get for when you play basketball. Because like it's way more physical,
Yeah.
to a sense, even though basketball is physical, but it's not as much as football. I just feel like it just when you win and everything just comes together in football, I just feel like it's just like, oh, there's so many more players, there's a much bigger family than the 12-man roster on the basketball court. So I just feel like it just feels a lot different.
Yeah. Well, talking about the mental preparation, how did you develop your mental preparation for basketball at least?
We talking about like before a game or something like that?
Pre-game, yeah. Pre-game, during shoot around, what helped develop your mental prep?
I guess at first I was more of a sit by myself type person. Like when it's game day, I didn't want no one to talk to me. I just wanted to be on my own, just block out all the noise, listen to like slow jam, stuff like that. But then as I progressed in my college career and I started getting to like year 2, year 3, I started being more like, you know what, let me like be more relaxed, but like, talk to my teammates and stuff like that. I didn't really like to zone myself out from everybody else. I just felt like personally it made me better because it made me feel more at ease, especially when I'm on the court. So, I mean, it really didn't change. I mean, it changed a lot, but I just feel like nowadays, I feel like my pregame routine would still be like, I'm gonna listen to music, but then I would like be more towards like, hey, talking to my teammates, but hey, man, y'all ready or whatever, just talking to them, like maybe joking around and stuff just to take all the weight off everyone's shoulders and stuff like that.
Yeah. So did your pregame stay the same all 3 years of college, or did you make any tweaks or adjustments in between?
If anything, I think maybe just my song choice changed because I always had them go-to music, like songs I'm going to listen to. I don't care. Even if I'm feeling it or not before the game, I'm going to listen to the song.
Yeah.
But aside from that, not really. Not really. It didn't change that much.
So what's the go-to song? What are your go-to songs?
Uh-oh.
Oh, man. I don't think I want to get into that. It's kind of stuff that it would be like, everybody would be like, why you listen to that before a basketball game? Like,
you might as well let it out, man. Just one song. Give us one song.
What's one, man? Definitely one. Well, now actually, no. The past year, this is one song that I always listen to. It was by what's it called? Was it Whoa? Is it Whoa? I think it's by. It was actually the only song I think I listened to him by. Yeah, it was the only song. It was called Whoa by if y'all familiar, XXX Tentacion. That's the only song I listened to him by. That's the only song. And I was just like, oh, this song, it's like one of them slow jams, And that's like, oh, it gets me focused. I would always listen to that song before I do anything. Very first song.
So it sounds like Marcel, you'd rather be in a calm state of mind than during your pregame as opposed to being amped up and energetic.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha.
So have you ever been in a game or a situation where you didn't listen to music and then you were like, you had to play or you had to like go out there and like play?
I think there was one time, had to be my first season at Paul Quinn. I don't know why it was very unprofessional for this one trip. I forgot what team we were playing. We might have been playing a school called Wiley, but it seemed we showed up to the game late, like too late to have like pregame shoot around and everything. So we didn't even like get to mentally prepare. We had to like throw on all of our stuff and everything, and we went out there. It just felt weird. Like I felt like I wasn't mentally prepared. I mean, eventually we got going, but then like at first it was like, oh, this is weird. I didn't really get to do what I get to do before the game and everything. So that was the only time I could think about it though. I don't know why we were late.
So what would you say is the most important aspect to your pregame routine or ritual?
My prayer before I even leave, before I walk down to our home stadium or before we get on the bus to go to theirs, I always do my prayer over and over again. Make sure I do. I have this little statue that I usually have that my grandma gave it to me before she passed away. It was a basketball player that was kneeling, and I always like put my hand on it and did a prayer right before every home game.
Okay. So going through that first year at Texas A&M, what did you learn in terms of adversity? What did that teach you that first year of not being able to play?
Oh man, you talking about when I was just there, like being a student?
Mhm.
It was definitely like it. I mean, I wasn't really thinking much of it because when I was at A&M, I was mostly just like that was when I was just going through the motions. I was just getting the real feel of what college really is. I was just hooping at the rec all the time, talking to some of my other freshman classmates that were like, hey, let's try to go out for the team, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I mean, it was different. There's something about it. I wasn't really stressing about it that much until I was really thinking like, man, I really want to play somewhere. And that's when my homeboy helped me out. But most of that time I was chilling. I was chilling most of the time at A&M.
Yeah. So do you think basketball helped you focus more on your academics as opposed to just
Oh, 100%. 100%. Because I wouldn't say I'm a school. I wouldn't say I am a school person. I wouldn't say I'm not. It's just, man, a lot of time I don't even want to do my schoolwork. But I know I was like, man, if I don't do this paper or do this PowerPoint, I'm definitely not going to be playing. You got to at least make it, at least pass at some point. So I know at the end of the day, it'll benefit me. So, I try to get out of what I learned. I'm paying for school anyways, part of it, a
Man.
little bit.
facts, man, facts. But
Same.
I go ahead, Dre. Go ahead.
No, you got it. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask. So Marcel, so what do you what is the most important thing that you learned throughout your 3 years at Paul Quinn?
Most important thing I learned definitely would be how I hold myself accountable. It
Okay.
would definitely be that. Like, honestly, it's like I really didn't think about how my future would be. Like a lot of times down the road, I switched my major maybe 2 or 3 times. But then at the end of the day, I started getting to that stage when I was about to graduate. I started thinking, like, man, what am I really gonna do? Even if I play some more or if I don't. So that really had me thinking, like, mainly towards the beginning of the season or my senior season. I started thinking about that, and then we got into January. The season's coming down, and then we're getting close to spring break. And, that's when all the COVID, everything broke out. So luckily we finished our season. Sad we didn't make it to the tournament at the end, but we weren't gonna play it anyways because of COVID. But aside from that, I think mainly just holding myself accountable because the new coach that I had definitely taught me the real meaning of accountability, kind of like how I see it, like, being a man, making sure like if anything you get something out of what you're, putting into, like nothing is just you shouldn't take for granted.
Yeah.
That's like one of the biggest things I definitely started realizing that there's many things more than basketball. And then whenever I do play, it's more than just that sport.
Right. Right. Now you talked about how you had two different coaches throughout your college career. And I want you to talk about that as well. But Dre, you also had two different coaches as well throughout your college career, right?
Yeah. So one year I had my first year at junior college. Well, not my junior college, but my first year at my 4-year college where I got my undergrad. Um, we had a coaching change my first year. So, after junior college, we only get 2 years. So it was like, wow, I was like, yo, two coaches, 2 different years. Like, this is different. But the thing that I went through was it was rough in the sense of learning a new coach's philosophy. So piggybacking off of that, how do you think was your transition easier or was it hard and hard, especially since that first coach you might have really got used to and really liked, especially he might have been someone who really he might have put his arm over you and that type of coach. And then just tell us about the two different coaching philosophies and how they were, especially since getting two different coaches in the middle. When did you get your second coach? That's a question.
My senior year.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
So yeah, the exact same time. So especially getting that second coach your senior year and you're already used to someone you've been under for 2 years. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it was definitely because my first coach, he was more of a, classic kind of guy, very wants everything slow pace, more half court and everything. Like he just wanted everything just set up nice and everything. Like, and how he was, he yeah, like you said, he took me under his wing, like as like, like he took all his players as a son, as like it was his own sons, and definitely the change of it. I felt like going to my senior season, we already knew that it was going to be, a culture change and everything, but it was nothing hard. I felt like that coach, he was still going to be around and everything. He wasn't going to be on the assistant coach or anything, but he was still working, being at the school. But then the switch over from my senior season, I was like, okay. At first, it was kind of like, okay, this is going to be different because, definitely when you have a new coach in, that person has his own philosophy, like you said. He's going to bring in his guys. He's going to, bring in his coaches and stuff, whatever he feels best for his program. So it was nerve-wracking at first, but then he was a very understanding guy, everything. He's one of those coaches like, hey, if whoever works the hardest is going to be on the court. And if you can show me that you can play and, feed into the offense, and play D, whatever, then you're going to be on this team. And that summer coming into my senior year, that was definitely like when we got to get to know him. We was doing open runs. We got to understand everything about him, and he was definitely something that he lived up to what he said, though. He definitely the hardest person to be out there on that floor. So it was really cool. And I'm excited to see what he does this upcoming season with the newcomers.
So you talked about, Marcel, that your previous coach or your first coach you had at Paul Quinn, he ran an old school style system, more slow paced half court setting. I guess in comparison to the last coach you had your senior year, whose system do you feel like you fit in better in terms of playing style?
Honestly, I do like the new one because based off of his fast pace and everything. Because like you said, I'm more of a shooter type of guard, so I like to get as much stuff, like kind of like I guess like you could say like the Rockets, like they got that 7-second offense or whatever. Try to get as many shots as you can as possible. So I definitely feel I don't really have a problem with either one, honestly. The slow pace actually made me understand the game more because now I'm having to look, kind of like observe it. It's a lot harder, especially if you're a guard, point guard, two guard, whatever, just to read the offense, and understand what's going on. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like they both benefited me at the end of the day. I mean, I'd probably go either one. I like fast pace though, but.
So does Dre. Dre was a point forward, man. He would get the ball and just go straight downhill, man.
Going out. Here we go. So like, because I know, so like, especially with I've seen people have coaching changes, and then that, like they at first they were promised that, like especially going to your senior year, you're like, all right, like, not that I'm the man, but like I have a specific role on this team, like it's huge, and then now it's like, dang. He brought in a whole new personnel, like it's new staff, new players coming in because he might have brought in players that he knew he was going to be like getting that job. So like, can you talk to us about that? Like, just overall, just having a new role on the team and having new people like come in, and now you got to like you're learning just as much as they are because everything's fresh.
Yeah, like that part was very interesting because I was a senior, so then there was a lot of maybe some JUCO transfers that he already previously coached and stuff like that, or even young guys that he's been looking at. It was very interesting because I don't know what his coaching is. So like I kind of was learning more, like I was learning a lot more than what those players before because they already knew how he was, the type of coach he is and stuff like that. So it felt really weird since I was like, because I'm more the older guy on the team, and they're all like, getting into their sophomore, junior year and stuff like that. So it was very interesting, but I don't know, man. It was really weird, man. Just all the new guys coming in. They had a whole new staff and everything. So it was definitely something interesting, that whole process.
I mean, did it feel like you were a freshman all over again your senior year? Because
yeah, it kind of did feel like that. Like you had to have something to prove, like a little chip on your shoulder, like go, because he knows what you did last year or what your record was, but he wants to see what you're gonna do this year. And he's got guys that he already knows can get the job done. So you got to prove that you can do it too.
You think that added pressure helped you though?
I definitely think so. I think it did. At first, I was kind of scared. I was like, man, but then as a basketball player, I was like, man, you can't really think that way, you know. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put on my hood and just go all forward, you know, go forward with it, see what happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of times for for us as basketball players, basketball is our outlet, right? It's our job. It's what we do for a living. But a lot of times when basketball starts to stress us, we have to find an outlet, another outlet outside of basketball that we can go to, that we can turn to when things maybe aren't going so well for us on the court. So, what for you, Marcel, is an outlet, something that you like to do in your spare time outside of basketball that kind of gives you a peace of mind and puts you at ease?
Definitely, as being a basketball player, I love this one thing I'm gonna say. I love playing 2K all the time. That's definitely eases my mind, and I don't care what it is. I'll just need somewhere. I close the door. I just play games, you know. But aside from that, I like to take peaceful walks, you know, just just really embracing. I like to just embrace the world, you know, just looking at things how it is, you know, because like when I like you said, sometimes it does get a little hectic because there's maybe basketball's not working right. It just taking this little piece in time, you know, just I'd be thanking God that hey, it's crazy that I'm still here, you know, that I got an opportunity to keep playing and still doing it right now. So I like to live in the moment, you know, and then just praise about it.
Right, right. Uh, I don't play 2K, but I'm sure Dre can talk
I
all
barely
about
play 2K, man. You know that.
it. What's your system, bro? What's your go-to system? Xbox or PlayStation?
Oh, I transitioned to P4, man. I'm trying to get
Oh
this
God.
PS5.
Oh, I was gonna be like, yo, in the interview, if he says he's Xbox, yeah, I don't know.
Nah.
But speaking of transitioning, Marcel, you were a two guard primarily, or a combo guard, more to say, in college, right? At the overseas level, you're probably going to be a point guard. Why don't you talk to us about that transition and how that's affected your off-season training?
Uh, actually, yeah, it's actually something that's actually very interesting to me because it's something I always wanted to do, but I knew as my own self that I wasn't a pure like you know point guard because I'm more of a scoring type.
Mhm.
But seeing like as my school wants me to be and what they want me to do, like now I can definitely see like I'm taking on this challenge and I really want to learn more. You know, there's I feel like I always learn more in the point guard position or in the two guard position, but I actually like it. You know, now I'm gonna have like basically more control. I was more of a just score, and I'll get the ball in the rim. You know, have assists every now and then. But I think it's definitely gonna add to my game because then later down the line, I don't know. You know, well, coming at my height, I definitely will always be a point guard. But then, but knowing it, I never know. Like I'll know when to like, hey, I don't need the ball in my hands. You know, because I'm not that type of player.
Right. So do you feel
Okay.
like you developed your skills on the ball because your off the ball skill, your ability to move without the ball has always been outstanding. So do you feel like that transition to moving on the ball has been difficult for you or harder to grasp?
You said that last part one more time. I can't hear you.
That ability to transition to playing on the ball, do you feel like that was difficult maybe to transition to?
Honestly, yeah, it kind of was, kind of wasn't, but it was definitely something I'm not used to because I'm more of a, you know, way more team ball player. I'm like, I don't need to have the rock all the time, you know. But then like it got to a point I was like, okay, I understand. And then when my pops was trying to tell me like, hey, you like you have to have that person that sets the pace, you know, kind of controlling what's going on out there. So
Yeah.
it definitely was different, but now I'm embracing it a lot more, you know, and I understand that okay, hey, you always gotta have control. That's every play can't be taking time off, even though I don't have to have the ball all the time, you know, it's just having some sort of control out there, you know, being like a floor general.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you tell us about that the process you had in getting overseas, getting your first opportunity to play overseas, and just tell us
Oh,
about that
okay.
process.
Well, it's all thanks to you right here, Mr. Kashawn Cottle, for all that. Definitely, I'm supposed to be leaving soon. It's a program called Play Overseas, and I'm going there to get my master's in coach education and coaching development. And I'm already in the middle of classes right now, but due to COVID, it's kind of slowed everything down. So like we just got down, it's another lockdown. So I won't be there until maybe beginning of December.
Yeah.
But the whole process of that, it's been going great. It's definitely something else because you know, mess with them. I already had a experience with people in a whole different country, but then this is a whole different part of the world aside from that. So it's crazy seeing and learning more about their culture and everything. Like I'm learning so much already, and I haven't even stepped foot on their land.
Right. Right.
Mm.
Absolutely. Um, Dre can talk about this as well. That moment when you step off the plane and you take the first steps into the UK, it's a complete culture shock, man. You're thinking, yo, what did I just get myself into, man? Like, you obviously don't want to go home, but you kind of brought it up, Marcel. The fact that you already lived in the country, you lived in Japan, you're probably be more prepared than anyone else. So
Yeah.
I just want to talk about Japan a little bit, man. I guess what was the best thing about living in Japan, bro? Because I know I have my own opinion, but what for you, what was the best thing about living in Japan?
Yeah, I definitely would think it was the freedom, honestly. I think because I miss the people like crazy. It's like to this day, if I see someone that went to Kinnick, I start going crazy because I haven't seen no one since I left. And that was what, 2013, something like that. And I just recently seen people in California. But aside from that, like definitely the freedom because like you can be so young and do whatever you want. Just walk around the city or go take a train, go to Tokyo, and you'll be perfectly fine. You ain't got to worry about no one messing with you or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost my wallet one time on the train and had everything in it. I remember how much money was in it. I had my cards, everything, I had my military ID, everything. And I didn't realize I lost it till I got home. And then, on the train is a long route. Like, yeah, I just left it. So it's probably like in a different side of Japan now. So when I got home, I didn't tell nobody. I'm not telling my dad. I ain't telling my mom I lost my wallet. I was like, dang, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Then like maybe like a week later, there's a package in the mail, and it had we opened it and it was my wallet. I was like, wait, what? And I opened it and it had everything in it still, and it had a note. And I had to go to the police that were off the base, and it was a Japanese police, and they talked to us and talking about me being more careful with my stuff and everything. But they said, oh, that's just how they are. They're very obedient. They're not going to touch nothing or anything. Just want to make sure that you have all your stuff. And I was like, wow, you can definitely not do that in America. That's definitely not going to happen.
Nah,
I was blown.
you're gonna lose everything like that. Wallet, ID. Somebody's gonna
Exactly. I
give me
had
an
it
ID
all.
and
Like it was
get
all.
everywhere. Yeah, nah, I couldn't do that.
Only in
But
Japan.
that,
Only in Japan.
yeah, I'll say. But like when you in the UK, one of the things that it's like you said, like as soon as you step down, you're just gonna be like, whoa, like this is crazy. Because all you're gonna think is like, man, like this is like I'm really in the UK. Like I know that was one of my first experiences. Never been outside the country, and then once I touched down, I was like, hey man, like what's going on? I was like, yo, I'm really in the UK. People speaking. First lady I met was from I think Ireland. I didn't know what she said the whole time. We had a full on hour and a half conversation, but it was just like, yeah, all right. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
All right.
That's crazy.
So Marcel, so what are you most looking forward to, man, to going overseas?
The culture change because I just don't want to see how they live. How everyone gets along. Like, yeah, I just want to see the difference between here in America and then compared to Japan at the same time. I just want to see. Like, I'm already wowed by how the way they speak. I mean, they might be speaking English, but I still can't. Sometimes I'd be like, "What?" Like, I don't even know what they're talking about. Like,
You'll definitely hear the what a couple times.
Facts. Facts, man. Facts. So Marcel, I just got a quick question. We're just talking about some of your interests in when it comes to basketball. I know Joe has a couple of questions as well. But who is the most difficult person you've ever had to guard throughout your collegiate and professional career?
Most difficult person I've ever had to guard. Man, I got a handful of that. When I even think about college, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't even point out one person that's in college or professionally, that was really hard. But there's one person that I know that broke me down and kind of made me to realize that, okay, that defense is a really serious part of the game. And I was in high school. And you probably remember him. I remember this day. It was a kid named Ronald Bolton.
Yeah.
And this kid was just so fast. And my dad was actually out there with me. We were playing. It was just a regular, like we're playing like real like pickup. Like all the best players were in the gym though. I was just like, he said, you're gonna guard him. And I was maybe like what, 14, something like that. And he's already about like 16, 17. And this dude was fast. He was just too quick, like with the ball, without the ball. I was like, man, I can't do this. And I started breaking down. So I can't guard him. And my pops was just on me hard. Like, hey, you better guard him. There's gonna be players way bigger, faster, stronger than him. And I was just like, dang, like that's really the only main person that I really can remember at this time. Cause it's just like that was like one of my first instances where I was like, okay, this basketball thing is gonna get pretty serious, pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It don't get much faster than that. Ronald was to this day, like you say, he's one of the fastest players I've ever guarded, man. Like with the ball, man, he could get up and down the court in maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah, he was moving.
Crazy, amazing speed and amazing talent too. But it's weird. Like you were talking about how pickup over there in Japan, it got pretty intense, man. Like we go in there some days, and if you lost that first game, you wouldn't get on for like the next 2 or 3 hours, man. So you might as well just went home.
Man, that was the worst too. I'm like, nah, man, we ain't finna lose today.
You got a box. Get that. I'm not getting
Yeah. I'm calling cheap fouls, everything.
All the calls. But especially like playing in the morning, when we would go in the morning, like at 5:30, about 5 o'clock, there would be some days that we go and we might only get 2 or 3 games in because there's so many people there and you don't want to lose. So if you lose, you have to sit out. But I think that it taught us that accountability of, okay, every play counts, every possession counts because we got to win this game. If we don't win, we're not coming back on. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I a lot of people feel a certain type of way about pickup. They're not fans of it, but I think when pickup is played the right way, it can be beneficial to the player.
Right. Yeah. It was definitely playing with old heads back then, so they were playing the right way. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was thinking, Marcel, like our transition as basketball players really developed in that time frame from that year from when we started playing to the next basketball season. It was phenomenal, an amazing leap, bro.
Definitely.
Yeah. But
I'll say well, I got one question. All right, so who do you think is the most like influential player to you? Like just in NBA wise, collegiately wise, like who's been super influential to you in your game, do you think?
Right now, for the past few years, I mean, it'd be obvious for me that, but everyone really knows. It would definitely be Stephen Curry. That's definitely my huge idol. Like I watch him all the time. Definitely one person I always model my stuff over. But definitely, if aside from him, would definitely have to be, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Because I just loved watching him growing up. Just everything, Mamba mentality. I loved it.
Yeah. So what do you think is the most important thing you've taken away from Kobe Bryant's game? Whether it be mental, physical, whatever.
I think his mental approach towards the game, because there's just something about him. He understood the game to the point like you can really write it down. Like he knows what the person's finna do before they even did it. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, it's like, wow, like I really like this. He knows what he's talking about. Like, it's crazy. Like you see it. I'm like, is it even real? Like, is this even real? Because I never got the opportunity to see Kobe Bryant play in person. And it was just very upsetting, It's just like, this guy knows so much about the game and he can tell you, or he'll tell you he's going to do this move. And you're like, all right, you're ready for it. And then he still does it and still scores. Or, it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I was like, yo, this guy right here, like, he's an idol. Like, definitely. Yeah. Like, he had me mind blown all the time.
Yeah, for sure. His, like you said, Marcel, his mental approach is second to none, man. Across all sports, you might not see another athlete that does it the way he does, man.
Never.
Absolutely. But Dre, I know you got your favorite questions you always
You ready for this one?
No.
Because it's always funny. All right. Who is your top 5 point guards? We'll start off with that one. Top 5 point guards.
Ooh, all time? Top 5?
No. Just today. Just today.
Oh, today. All right, I'm going with Steph. I'm going with Dame. I would probably Kyrie. I'm picking Chris Paul. I don't care what nobody says. I'm going Chris Paul. And then my 5th, that would be tough. Because he blew up so much this year. So I'm putting Jamal Murray up there. That's playing right now.
Whoa, the shocker 5th. All right.
I got to put him up there right now, man.
He had a shocker 5th right there. That was a shocking 5th.
Wow. Why?
Had to.
Jamal Murray?
Huh?
Why Jamal Murray?
Man, there's just something about him. Like, well, because I watched him play in college, but then it's like his game has changed so much since then. And then this playoffs, I knew he was gonna hoop, but I didn't expect him to do what he did. Especially like, he playing against an overwhelming Lakers team and everything like that. I was like, dang, this dude was really like, he's really getting it out there. And then he was playing when he was hurt, like a bad injury, and he has the ball 99% of the time. You don't know anyone else that has the ball unless he throws it to Jokic on the top of the key for 5 seconds, and then he gives it right back to him. I was just like, this dude has got that dog in him. He was hooping. But I mean, you can only do so much against, the king. You can't do nothing.
True. Very true.
Okay.
Well, that was a very shocking 5th. I didn't think that one was It is what it is. So many great point guards in the league.
I like that. You saw, Dre, how he left your guy out, right?
Who's this guy?
Don't say my guy. That's really all I'm saying is the disrespect from you is crazy.
Listen,
who it is?
I think Russell Westbrook's better than.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah, but, I like Jamal Murray. I think he's. So let me ask you this real quick, Marcel. Do you think that him and Donovan Mitchell have an actual rivalry brewing, or do you think that is just played up because they face each other in the playoffs?
I feel like I really don't know. I kind of feel like it was played out. I feel like they were just kind of being extra about it. Maybe they might, but I doubt it. I mean, because they're both like really great players, but I just don't see them like really matching up and stuff. Like, we see it in the times to come. I think it was just in that moment because their teams just so happen to, be playing each other like with the seeding and everything. I didn't really see that coming that way.
Okay. Dre, you got one more question, right? You got another question, right?
Yeah. All right. Give me your top 10 list of all time.
That's gonna be hard. All right. No order, right?
No. We have order. It's always order.
I don't like that. All right.
If you're honest opinion, like this is your list. This is your list that you have. It's okay. We're gonna judge regardless, but we'll say we're gonna judge.
All right. So number 1. Man, I'm actually still tight on number 1. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. To this day, I still be getting confused. I don't care. I'm putting MJ at number 1.
Okay.
I'm putting LeBron at number 2.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put Kobe at number 3 because he's my idol. So I'm putting Kobe.
I respect that. I respect it.
Definitely, he's got to be up there. So I'm putting Kobe up there. And then behind that, when we say all time, like, are we doing accolades? Like, is that what we talk about, or we're like, could they still be playing right now?
Everything, like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, it's all time. It's yours. It's your list.
All right, let me see, because I ain't gonna put him up there. Changing the game wise, I'm gonna put Steph at number 4.
Oh wow, that is really.
Hey, I gotta do it, man. Change the game for real, everywhere. And then I'm gonna put number 5. I'm gonna put definitely Shaq. I'm gonna put Shaq in front of Steph. Actually, we go Shaq number 4 and Steph number 5.
See, I told you.
And then number 6. Oh man, there's so many people. Y'all got me on the hot seat right now. I'm really trying to think. I don't want to put. I was about to say Larry, but nah, I don't. All right, we'll say Magic. I'm gonna say Magic at number 6, and then I'm gonna go Tim Duncan, number 7.
All right.
Number 8. You said my top 10, so he's gonna go up this list. Just know what's his name gonna be on there regardless. I don't know what number he is, but he's gonna be up there. Kevin Durant's gonna be in my top 10. I don't care regardless. He's gonna be up there.
You're fine. I've had him before too, so it's fine.
Okay. So he's up there. He's up there somewhere. What was that? What was that? Number 7, number 8? That was.
You're at 8 right now.
You're at 8 now.
Okay. Number 8, I'm going to put. Tough. I'm going to go with. Maybe. Well, I mean, I guess you say Bill Russell. I mean, he got all those championships. I guess Bill Russell. Bill. I guess, Bill Russell is amazing, but still, I'm going to put Bill up there. I'm more of a respect guy towards it. Bill.
Last one.
I'm sorry. Sorry, you got 2 more.
I got 2 more. Oh.
I thought you said he's putting KD in one of them. That's why.
Yeah, KD's up there somewhere.
Okay, so yeah.
So I got one more. My final one. Top greatest players of all time. This is hard. Don't quote me on it. I can't even think right now. But the name that is coming to my head right now would definitely be. Yeah, man. I forget. Yeah, I'll put Larry Bird up there, number 10.
Okay. Well, Kashawn got about 20 people in his top 10, which is crazy.
How's that working? How's that working, man? I got 20 people.
You'd be having 1A, 1C, 1B, 1D. I'd be like, bro, you can't do that.
Don't do that.
No, he's got Gilbert Arenas up there, his favorite player of all time.
You love Gil.
Listen, for 2 years, Gilbert Arenas was the most influential player on the planet.
See, I told you.
Look at him.
He formed the game. He paved the way for guards like Steph, Dame, James Harden. He paved the way for that scoring guard, man. That kind of 6'4" range that shoots the ball with the clip. He paved the way for those guys, man. So
I don't know if it was him. I don't know.
Listen, he says Gilbert.
He had his stuff going on off the court, but respect, man. He is an amazing player. A little bit,
yeah.
But
he's player, man. He's probably one of the greatest second rounders ever taken.
Tony Parker.
Hey, he's top. He's definitely in that mix, though. Yeah. Tony Parker was benefited with the greatest power forward ever.
He had a great system, even though Tony Parker is amazing. They had a great system.
I'll never take away from TP. I swear to God, I'll never take away from TP. But he did have Tim Duncan, and then I forgot Manu was in the second. Tony Parker was first round. Manu was taken second.
Was Tony Parker first round?
Yeah, he was. He just wasn't lottery.
Okay. Manu was second round, like you said, for sure.
Yeah, Manu was for second round for sure. But they were both benefited with the power forward GOAT. So I don't know.
Thanks.
Okay.
And the greatest, one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe pop. But let me just get my top 10. Let me tell Mark.
You're gonna laugh. All right, Kashawn, I'll take it back. What I said about when you said about who was it? IT, because I did some research on IT, and IT had probably some of the greatest final runs that you could ever think of. He went through Bird, he went through Magic, and he went through Jordan.
Yep.
When he won the finals.
Yep.
He a dog.
He's the first little guard to lead his team to a championship.
Yeah. And he was out there, he was low key out there doing things that guards now be doing. He was giving people work. So I give it to IT.
Before Kyrie, he had the best handles of all time.
Yeah. And his finishing package was cold. I'm telling you, IT was nice. All right.
You think so y'all think Isaiah Thomas had better handles than Allen Iverson?
Handle, not cross. Handle.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. No, AI had one of the best crossovers. Him and Tim Hardaway probably have the best
Gotcha.
of all time. Well, all right, let me get my list real quick. I know Dre's about to say something now. So I got MJ at 1, right? I got Kareem at 2. Got Bill Russell at 3. I got LeBron at 4. I got Magic at 5. I got Bird at 6. I got Tim Duncan Sorry, I have Hakeem at what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is that 7?
I got who am I missing? Tim Duncan.
Man, gosh, gosh.
I got one more, right?
We put Shaq at 9.
Yep.
Wait, who was 8?
Tim Duncan. I got Isaiah Thomas at 10, rounding me out.
Did you hear his list? Did you hear one name that wasn't called? I just want to let you know.
Kobe
There's one
is
name not
number
called.
11.
Wow.
He left off Bean on number. He left off Bean out of the top 10. That's crazy.
But Kobe is the most skilled player of all time. I will say that.
Can I ask, why is Isaiah Thomas in front of Kobe Bryant?
Because of like what I said previously, that IT was the first little guard to lead his team to 2 championships. As Dre already said, he had to go through 3 of the top 6 players with Magic of all time, in Magic and Jordan and Bird. His ability to finish around the rim is second to none. He paved the way for guards having a tight handle, and his ability to lead a team was prominent with the Bad Boys. And if you watch the Bad Boys documentary, it's very clear that he was the leader off the court and on the court for that team. He helped make he kept Dennis Rodman on track in terms of a mental state. Helped Joe Dumars turn to the player that he is. I think IT's impact on the game is just second to none, man. But so that's why Isaiah Thomas is in that top 10. But Kobe is, like I said, Kobe is the most skilled player of all time. The streakiest player of all time as well. And I've never seen a player get hot as quickly as Kobe did. But that is my list. And it might be KD as of right now is in my top 20 as well. Somehow he's in my top 10. And I think if KD gets another ring, he might have to be in my top 10.
Understandable.
Mad disrespect to LeBron. I'm sorry. That's mad disrespect.
Wow.
Listen. LeBron is the most durable player of all time. He's one of the most dominant players of all time as well.
Why was that? Why was this?
Physically dominant.
Yeah, what was that?
Oh, okay, all right. I was just like, I don't understand. Like, what was that?
But that's why he is. That's neither here nor there. That's a topic for another day. But LeBron has shown the ability to win consistently as well. But he has also shown the ability to be a toxic presence in the locker room. On many occasions, players have shown that they don't want to be around that type of energy. But aside from that, just talking about his skill set or his athleticism, because there's not much of a skill set. But LeBron James.
Whoa! All right, I can say he has a small bag, but that bag worked.
But it's a credit to him because he doesn't need as big of a bag as maybe a Steph or even a Kobe, because his athletic prowess is just phenomenal. But I will say this: LeBron is maybe the second best passer of all time, besides Magic Johnson.
I give you that. I
ain't gonna say nothing.
Listen, if LeBron gets another ring, I'll bump him up to my top 3.
So great.
One spot, right?
Yeah, who was in front of him? I forgot who he put in front of him.
He had Kareem and Jordan.
It was Kareem and who? It was just Jordan?
Kareem and Jordan.
And then Bill Russell.
You had Bill Russell in front of him?
Yeah, he had Bill Russell. I knew he had 2 big men in front of him. I was like, what?
You just can't throw 11 rings out the window. Like that has to be a comment for something.
You're right. If that's the case,
won
he should be
11
number 1.
rings playing against plumbers. These dudes had day jobs coming to hoop.
Okay, so even if we don't want to give him full credit for 11, So just cut it in half, bro. Give him 6. 6 is still.
Nah, he still got 7. He got 7
He'd be
off
number
rip.
one.
He got 7 off rip. Like he was just like, all right, I'm about to come into the NBA, just dominate.
And people forget how dominant he was defensively as well. Like the man was. He used to give Wilt Chamberlain fits.
But Wilt gave somebody 100, so I don't.
He ain't do nothing when it. He ain't do nothing when he went up against Bill Russell though, man.
Hey man, all I'm saying is he gave somebody 100. And he gave Bill 60. So what that means?
Sean, you dropping 100?
Probably 200, man. Come on, bro. Don't do that.
I like it.
Oh God.
But Dre, all right, man. So what news do we have, Dre? What news do we got for this week?
What news we got? Hey man.
What we doing?
Very good news for for us, because we love watching the NBA. They're shooting for the start date to be on the 22nd. They're trying to do something. I think it's with the CBA because it's just kind of iffy right now. Everything with COVID, and then they're for sure going to get in before Christmas. I don't know how many big names are going to play on the Christmas Day games, just because it's so fast and quick into the season.
Yeah.
But their potential to lose too much. It's too much money, and then instead of it being an 82 game season or even shorter than that, it's going to be 72. Okay. 72 games. So I don't know how much we're feeling about that, but if you think about it, the games that most people like tune into is obviously the big name games. So like the Lakers, like rival games, Lakers, Celtics, or the Warriors and like someone else. But if they were not to play that the Christmas Day game, they would lose too much money. So I see the NBA coming in before Christmas.
How much money are we talking about?
I couldn't find that one specifically, but I knew it would be if they didn't start it before, because last year they lost out. They just broke even at 1.5 billion. So I would say probably around $1 million, and they started that bubble. I mean, I said $1 million, probably around under $1 billion, but. And the bubble helped, but it wasn't the same for them.
Yeah, you said you said they were down in viewership ratings as well, right?
Yeah, viewership ratings were down, but I think across sports that's happening for everybody. But like we talked about earlier, for the NBA, most of their money comes from viewership, so it's a little different for them, like compared to the NFL or compared to the MLB.
Okay. So. You say they will start before Christmas.
I'm predicting before Christmas, but they haven't like it's just the players usually have to also put that in too, because I guess it's something about the CBA that's in the bylaws in it that they have to like do something, and they got to kind of go back and reconfigure everything.
Okay, we'll be on the lookout for that moving forward then.
Yeah.
But let's do some predictions real quick, guys. Marcel used to be an amazing cornerback, safety, quarterback. Did a little bit of everything in football. So we're going to come back and talk a little bit of football. We'll start with college football. Okay, we've got number 1 Clemson going up against number 4 Notre Dame. They're playing at Notre Dame. As of right now, Clemson is a 5.5 favorite against Notre Dame. You got any predictions for us, Marcel? Just give us a score if you got a score.
Actually, I think Notre Dame going because isn't the quarterback out for Clemson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got Notre Dame taking it.
Oh, you are bold.
Ain't got no quarterback now.
I'm going. Etienne's been having a great year. He's actually going to be, when he finishes and he's all said and done, he'll be one of the greatest ACC players in the history. That's Clemson's running back.
Yeah.
Their line looks solid, and I think I don't know how to say the quarterback's name for Clemson. Ugalele. That is.
Yeah.
No, I'm dead serious.
Sunshine.
Clemson's like a football factory for quarterbacks right now because last week he threw for 342 yards and he was 30 of 41.
Yep.
That was against Boston College, but still, first game on, you're a freshman, you come in, you step in, you do your job.
Yep.
So as long as he's solid, I don't see them losing. ETN is gonna gonna make sure that he's fine. And hey, man, their defense is as dominant as always. So I'm going Clemson by more than the favorite 5.5. I'm gonna say by. I don't know, man. I don't know. We talked about this too. Who's Notre Dame really played in the last year? To be honest,
you said my point exactly, Trey.
Yeah, I'm gonna go by 14. I'm gonna go by 2 touchdowns. Actually,
Okay.
I'm gonna say 10. I'm gonna go with 10.
Okay.
34-24. Nah, I'm gonna take that back. 40-30 Clemson.
Ooh, high scoring game, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna score some.
Okay. I've got Clemson winning this game by a score of 30-17. Marcel, like you said, Trevor Lawrence is out, but their second string quarterback DJ is in, and he's shown that he has the ability to supplement the role that Trevor Lawrence let him take. But also, like you said, Travis Etienne is one of the best running backs in ACC history. He actually holds the record for most rushing yards in ACC history.
Yeah.
And the rush defense of Notre Dame has been good so far. But like you said, Notre Dame hasn't faced anybody that I think is really much of a challenge or anyone that compares to Clemson, quite frankly. So I think they're going to struggle stopping Travis Etienne. I think Clemson is going to keep the ball on the ground so DJ doesn't have to make as many decisions in the air. So I think they score quickly and then they run out the clock. I think the Clemson defense has been a stout all year. I think they get the stops on Notre Dame. Like I said, so I got a score of 30-17, Clemson. Okay, we got an SEC matchup. Number 8, Florida, going up against number 5, Georgia. They're playing in Florida. Dre, why don't you start with this one? What you got?
All right, so this is, I don't know, I feel like this might be a game of offense versus defensive wise, because I just don't think Georgia's quarterback situation is the best right now. And then Florida's quarterback is having Trask. He's having a great year, starting off hot. He's been killing teams. 18 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, over 1,300 purpose yards. Well, throwing yards. And then just if you think about it, their last meeting, it was 24-17, Georgia. And I don't think Fromm is as good. And I think Fromm was that difference maker for the last game for Georgia. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. Florida is gonna win on offense, but does Florida be able can Georgia stop Florida's defensive line is the question.
Right.
Because
go ahead.
So I'm gonna take Florida by a touchdown. Actually, shorter than that. I'm gonna say by a field goal. 24-21.
Okay. I think Georgia has the best rush defense in the country. We saw what they did against Kentucky. But the reason that game last week was so close against Kentucky is because, like you said, Dre, Stetson Bennett and the Georgia offense has been wildly inconsistent. But they have shown spurts where they can be effective and efficient, like against Alabama, or at least that first half. I think, like you said, Kyle Trask is one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but he hasn't faced a defense like Georgia as well. I think the Georgia defense is going to hold Florida, to 10 points. And I think Georgia does just enough offensively to win the game. So I have this a low-scoring game. I have Georgia winning this game by a score of 17-10.
Oh my God, real old school SEC work I see.
Old school SEC, man. Marcel, what you got, man? What you got for this?
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I have not even looked at them lately. I have seen a little bit, but just because Georgia was Florida, I'm gonna pick Georgia because there's a home to at least 10 HBCUs favoritism over here. So
Hey, there we go. Hey, I respect it. Yeah, that's fine.
I like that. I like that. Hey, I can't make. Hey,
Yeah.
I love that, bro. I like that. Dang, that alone right there is enough, man. I love that. I don't even know how to bounce back from that. Let's just go right to NFL, man. Seattle, Buffalo. Seattle at Buffalo. Seattle is currently a 3-point favorite. Dre, what you got?
Well, seeing as how I've watched some of Seattle and they destroyed my team, we're not gonna talk about that. Well, Russell's having an MVP year right now. He's looking like the MVP. 26 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and I think this is the game where people will see DK and they'll just be like, you know what? I think is this the game where we're finally going to say is DK taking away? Is he going to be top 3 from here on? Top 3 wide receiver
In the league?
Yeah. Could this be that game?
Oh, you don't think that's early?
I don't know, man. He had a great rookie season. He's having a great year, sophomore season. And he's been monstering people. He's been making people look frail on the field. So I don't know. DK is looking like a very a much taller Julio.
Okay.
I like that.
So is this the year that we say, all right, man, maybe Julio's lost it a little bit because there's nobody to this day other than DK Metcalf. I just don't see anybody taking Julio's spot. But I don't know.
I've seen receivers that can challenge Julio.
Woo.
AB, DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins maybe, but Hopkins doesn't like, he's not physically as gifted as Julio. Julio's he looks like the most gifted athlete on the field at all times when he steps on there.
Okay. But in terms of route running, we're talking route running though. We're talking everything.
Route running, you probably can go there.
That AB might be in there too.
AB, yeah. Speed, route running, and then what he does after he catches, I could see it.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you have Josh Allen putting up. He's having a great year too, by the way. He's come down a little bit. I think last week against, was it the Patriots? He struggled a little bit. He didn't have his best game, but he played pretty well. 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions for the year, over 2,100 yards. Do you think this is one? Quick question: do you think this game is won by defense or offense? This game?
I think Seattle's defense is going to, with the return of Jamal Adams and the acquisition of Carlos Dunlap from the Bengals, I think that bolsters Seattle's subpar defense. I think the defense does just enough to get a couple stops on Buffalo's offense, but I think Seattle right now is led by Russell Wilson, who is, in my opinion, the MVP right now of the NFL. I think they go as he goes. So if you had to ask me, I think Seattle wins this game by offense.
All right.
Just as they have all year, though.
Yeah. But Seattle right now is the 3-point favorite. Do I think it's going to be more than 3 points? Yes. But I'm going Seattle, score of, let's go 28-20. I'm going to say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marcel, you got a score for us?
I got Seattle 24-10.
24-10. That's closer to my score as well. I got Seattle winning this game 24-14.
No respect for Buffalo, man.
It is nice though this year.
Yeah.
I think Jamal Adams, he adds a lot to that secondary, in my opinion.
Is that their weakness? Because right now they're only letting 102 rushing yards per game.
Yeah, that's what I think from what I see when they play. But Dre, this is your game right here, man. New Orleans at Tampa Bay.
Hey.
Tampa Bay is currently the favorite by 5.5 points. What you got?
This is a division game. This is the most important game for either team. Because I think last time they played Brady, they played what, the second week of the season?
No, the first week actually.
First week, yeah. I think that was the time when like Brady wasn't very comfortable with all his weapons. He was in a new coach, new system, everything like that. Now that he's getting comfortable, they're on a roll. They're 6-2. They have been they've been killing teams, even though they kind of struggled against New York. I don't know what it is about Tom Brady in New York, like that just doesn't click all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady, so Tampa Bay is a 5-point favorite, and they have probably the best. They probably have the best receiving core in the league. They might have the best offense in the league. So I'm gonna go with Brady and Co. I'm gonna say 27 to probably, man, I don't know, because defensively they've been getting after it too, and I like the fact that Brady knows how to control the game. I'm gonna go 30-20 for Tom Brady and them for Tampa Bay.
30-20. Marcel, what you got?
I'm agreeing with him. I'm taking Tampa over the Saints. I'm about to say, isn't this is week 9, right? So isn't AB coming? Isn't he supposed to be playing this week?
Sure is. He sure.
Oh yeah. So I mean, there'll probably be some mishaps, but nah, I think they're gonna be in trouble with the Saints because that's a whole nother threat out there. So I'm definitely taking Tampa Bay over the Saints.
I am also taking Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay winning this game by a score of 37.
High scoring game there.
To 10.
To 10?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Now, wait. Now, we have seen New Orleans offense be extremely sporadic. We're not sure if Michael Thomas is going to be back. We've seen that all Drew Brees has done is really think and Dak. No offense to Dak, but just dump it, just get 5 yards down the field, and that's it. He's getting it out his hand very quickly, which shows me that he's on the decline of his career, which is okay because he's 40 years old. And also, New Orleans has the 23rd worst defense in the NFL. Couple that with, like you said, Drake, going up against the best offense, in your opinion, in the NFL in Tampa Bay, and the best receiving core. Add Antonio Brown to that, like Marcel just said, and I think this is a recipe for disaster. I also have Antonio Brown scoring 2 touchdowns in this game.
You are wilding if you think he's getting 2 touchdowns. That's not for a year.
I think he'll get the ball maybe 3 times.
He might touch that ball maybe at best 5 times.
Yeah.
Dre, if AB scores 2 touchdowns, I want a tropical smoothie gift card.
I'll give you that if he scores 2 touchdowns.
Okay, I'm writing it down. Tropical card. Well, yeah, Marcel, man, really appreciate you joining the show today, man. We really appreciate listening to your insight and your story, man. It's such a blessing to have you on the show. As you know, before we close out, we'd like to give a couple of shout outs. So before we close, are there any shout outs that you want to give?
Definitely got a shout out, all my homeboys watching it. Just like we were talking about earlier, Shavar, man, love you, man. And I want to shout out my big brother Quentin and my pops, man, Antoine Holden. I appreciate you guys a lot, though. I really appreciate this moment right here.
Yeah. Dre.
Shout out, the family. Shout out, thank God for everything. But shout out my boy Monte. He's kind of starting his own YouTube. He is doing something with, middle kind of motivational. So the Dreamers YouTube, if anybody wants to go check it, something to listen to in the morning, get up, get your mind fresh, get right. Shout out B Rimby, my guy. Still rooting for you. I hope you on your path to greatness. I'm done right there.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to the Nerdy in Many Ways YouTube channel. Shout out to the Tatiana Jasmine YouTube channel. And shout out to Choir Boy Clothing Company, which is ran by one of our boys, Stephen Horton. He's doing great things right now. And shout out to the fans who continue to listen to us and support us. None of this is possible without you guys. And most importantly, we'd like to thank God because none of this is possible without him and his presence. Also, guys, we'll be back next week with more content and another special guest. Continue to stay safe, guys. Be vigilant, make smart decisions. And until next time, guys, peace.